ways to influence someone to take charge of their life is to encourage them to read or to listen to something that they are not normally listening to, or to read something they don't normally read. Now, there's several ways that you can get people to do this. And let me just say, when we're talking about this, I'm not telling you have to get them to read my books, okay? But I am telling you, you need to get them to read somebody's books, all right? Get somebody that doesn't bore them to tears. Get a tape or something, or a CD or a DVD program that doesn't bore them to tears. I create things specifically to lead them to this. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. But one of the things that there are different ways you can get people to do this. Now, with younger people, I've paid my boys to read stuff, and sometimes I've had some people say, "Really, you pay your kids to read?" I would never pay my kids to read. And I've asked, I said, "Well, what do you pay your kids to do?" And I've had people say, "Oh, I pay my kids to take out the garbage." Okay, you pay your kids to take out garbage, I'll pay my kids to read. I think that for whatever reason, if somebody reads and because you can get somebody reading something that they get interested in, and then they're reading for their own reasons. And so, but you put that stuff in there. You and I know if you can get a teenager to read something, whether they're loving it, whether they're wanting to, some of that is getting in there. More than if they did not read it all. How many times have you had something get in your head that you never intended to be there? Here's the story of a lovely lady. You know what I'm saying? Right? I mean, plop, plop, fizz, fizz. To all be fatties. And none of us ever sat down in front of a TV set and said, "I'm going to learn the words to this stuff." You just know it. And so when you get somebody to read something, for whatever reason, there will be things that get in that they never may have intended, but can be called back at certain times in their life. Now, I have a couple of books and a couple of CDs that I urge sometimes people to use subversively. There's a CD that I have called My Life So Far. And for the most part, it's just funny. There's probably 20% of it is some principled stuff, and it's a cool story about me walking in the woods with my dad, and a couple of things he taught me. But for the most part, it's just funny. In fact, that CD is used on Sirius XM, used on the radio, and people say, "I heard you on the Comedy Channel." Yeah, I know. Because we created that so that people can give it to a kid and say, "This is the funniest CD I've ever listened to," or give it to a friend and say, "You got to listen to this. Listen to the track about the baseball story and the coach that couldn't say his L's." And people just crack up. And so then you're able to say, "Hey, that guy that you like that did the baseball story, he wrote this book. That guy? Well, here's one of his other tapes." And so to get people to listening, because one of my important things in my life, and what we laughingly refer to as my career, is I do not want to bore people. I don't like to be bored, and I don't want to bore anybody else. And so even the stuff that normally people would call serious, there's some great moments in it, and I put them in there intentionally. This is why I write stories instead of nonfiction, because stories can interest people and capture attention where other things would not break through.